big crowd here this morning. So it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker this morning, Dave Montoure. I suspect most of you know Dave, but for those of you who are not part of his entourage, Dave is the owner of Kettlefish here in Gig Harbor and in Silverdale. And I, again, expect that probably most of you have been there at one time or another. But Dave is here to talk a little bit about his journey to a functioning store. And with that, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, John. Just so you know, this meeting is being recorded. All right, got it? All right, thanks, guys. Hi, I'm Dave. Thanks for coming today. I'm going to talk a little bit about Kettlefish, give you an update on our first year almost in Gig Harbor. We're really excited to be down in Gig Harbor after starting this brand about 4 years ago. So I'm Dave. I've actually got a full crew here today. I'll introduce them in just a second here. But how many of you have been to Kettlefish restaurant? That's pretty good. And those of you that didn't raise your hand, we'll see you soon, I hope. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and we'll get through this. All right. So who we are. So we started out about 4.5 years ago up in Silverdale. That was our proof of concept location. Myself, we started off with 3 folks. Myself, Patty O'Brien is my business partner. We founded the company together. I have an origin story, which I'll tell you all about. It's pretty interesting. And in the room today, the third leg of the table is Mr. Paul Prentice. Paul comes to us. He's an old Chamber of Commerce connection from West Seattle. We go back probably 20 years or so. Patty and I go back about 24 years or so. So we've got a lot of experience together. So Patty, of course, is our chief of operations there. I'm the CEO, and Paul helps us out with a bunch of different projects. He's like our Swiss Army knife, I like to call him. So this pretty little logo here, all the colors, the branding, when you come into Kettlefish, all that consistency. That's Paul. And he also installed our grease trap. So he's a man of many, many talents. The nice thing about Kettlefish, and, we have a lot of experience in the restaurant business, Paul accepted, but we are a local company. We're a family-owned company. Patty O'Brien, he comes from a generation of restaurateurs. Sadly, we lost his father, Michael. Michael O'Brien ran the O'Brien family, O'Brien's Turkey House is over on the east side. If you were ever on the east side, Kirkland, Bellevue, you probably went to one of these restaurants back in the day. So, we miss Michael O'Brien, dearly, and Patty just had to deal with that. So we agreed with him. But we're fortunate that we're passing on to another generation of O'Briens. We've just hired Quincy O'Brien, Patty's daughter. So you have a third generation restaurant O'Brien working in the facility now. She's our general manager down in Gig Harbor. You'll have to come and introduce yourself. She's 22 years old, and she just runs that place with Kettlefish culture. She is imbued with Kettlefish and service hospitality culture. We're really proud of that addition to our team, our growing team, I should say. So we started off with these unique little steam kettles. We came into this concept as a disruptor. You guys are familiar with that term disruption, right? We looked at the landscape, fish and chips, clam chowder, and the restaurants we go to are all 30 years old. They're kind of long in the tooth. You know the brands, you know the restaurants. They're all good. There's nothing wrong with any of these restaurants, but we thought that concept hadn't been looked at in quite a while, and we had an idea to do something about that. So we took that fish and chips, clam chowder concept, and we added these cool steam kettles to it to add some healthier menu options and also look at the efficiencies and speed that the steam kettles can provide to a quick service operation or a seafood fast casual operation. We set out to be the best of class in fish and chips, and I think we achieved that goal. We really want to be the best product out there in the fish and chips category and also in the clam chowder category. And we, I believe, have nailed it. I hate to brag, but I'm going to. I think it's great. And we will be the best in class fast casual seafood concept. We're emerging. I think there's a lot of attention being focused on the brand, and we're happy to be in this space. We're really excited about where we are. So I'll tell you about our unique steam kettles in a future slide here. But that was kind of the hook that we had getting into this business. We opened 4.5 years ago in Silverdale to prove the concept, and we're able to open up down here in Gig Harbor last October 7th. This is it. This is our product. Top seller every day. Fish and chips. That 2-piece fish and chips right there is a top seller every day. This is a great product. It's a hand cut piece of, it's Alaskan cod, cotton processed at sea. It's not being sent over to China and processed in China and then shipped back. It's actually processed at sea and delivered to Bellingham, where it's packaged and then processed down into the North America for us to get our hands on. We get it through Trident Seafoods. We've got it locked in under a special contract so that we have a guaranteed supply of this fish and chips product. It's an excellent seafood product. And the way we handle it when it's in-house, it's very unique. We hand batter and bread that product. We're doing it every day. And that's how you get that unique, flaky consistency. The product is never oily. We use a very precise cooking method. Those French fried, the fryers are set at a very precise temperature, and that oil is filtered and cleaned on a regular basis, and that makes all the difference in the world. If you've ever been in for fish and chips and it's kind of oily and it tastes a little, that's probably an oil concern. All right. If you monitor and keep a track on that oil, you're going to have a much better product. And we're really proud of the fact that we've been able to do that. This is the best fish and chips product you're going to see, I think, on the West Coast. I'll brag about it. I think it's the best in the world. So I'm very proud of it. And our tartar sauce, you'll see that too. We make that all in-house. We're very proud of those recipes. And then our next piece is the clam chowder. This, again, the best that I've ever had. I think it's probably the best you've ever had. It's a gluten-free product, if that matters to anybody here. We get it to thicken just by naturally reducing it down, and the heavy cream just naturally thickens the product up. We don't need any additional thickener in there to make that product to the consistency that we want. It's a really, really excellent product. Tons of clams in this thing. You know, it's almost a 1-to-1 ratio, a pound of clams per gallon of cooked. So 10-gallon batch gets 10 pounds of clams. That's clam in every bite. And we've got a really nice clam broth product. You've had this clam broth product actually in these Bloody Caesars that you're drinking today. So if you got the Bloody Caesar and you're like that, that's our clam broth product. You can see us packaging it down here. We're getting this ready for retail production. We'd like to start a process over the winter where we can get this product out into small grocers to start, and then hopefully into the larger grocers as we grow and develop the concept. So that's our clam chowder. And it's at this point, you know, I'm talking about the food here, and, you know, the food is excellent there. And I was giving this presentation last Thursday over at Heritage, and somebody stopped me and raised his hand and said, and you got the best people in the world. And it stopped me dead in my tracks. He was right. You know, I didn't have a slide about our customer service and the crew that we have at Kettlefish. Shame on me, because the service that you get there and the crew that we have there is really top notch. You know, some of these kids are kind of young. Some of them, this is their first job coming out of high school. Some of them are a little seasoned, but we've really got a good culture going on there. And that's going to continue through with the addition of Quincy O'Brien, you know, as our general manager. You're going to see that culture come through. So Kettlefish, great food, great people. We're really proud. Let's talk about these steam kettles. All right. So is anybody familiar with the steam kettles? Have you ever seen this product before? Well, Paul is. Yeah, he helped us hook them up. So of course he is. Yeah. So this is a steam kettle right here. The steam comes into this side here. It heats up this bowl here, this bowl right here. And then the steam condensates and drips down through that stanchion there. So it looks like they're kind of hovering in space. They're really, really pretty to look at. And they have the added feature of being very, very efficient and a very unique way of cooking. So this is the efficiency piece. For that entire steam kettle battery, so I've got 6 kettles lined up here in an array at Kettlefish. Oops, moved back too far. It takes a half a cup of water to fire up that steam kettle battery, and I can run it for about 6 minutes on a half a cup of water. That's efficiency, folks. When you convert that water into steam, right, you get volume out of it, 1,700 times the volume. So you capture that volume. That's energy. You capture that and you hold it. Slightly pressurized. It's only pressurized at about 15 psi, right? Your car tire is at about 50 psi. So that's higher pressure than these steam kettles are. You just capture and you hold that energy at 15 psi, you release it in a steam kettle, and you can heat them up very quickly. When you turn that steam on, it instantly goes up to 212 degrees. That kettle is instantly 212 degrees. You can boil water in about 35 seconds. Cold water, 46 degrees coming out of the tap, will come to a boil in about 35 seconds. It's very fast. Resulting from that, in about 6 to 7 minutes, you can cook a fully realized bowl of cioppino, bouillabaisse, steamer clams and mussels, pasta, anything in these kettles. And you can do all of this without the addition of a gas flame. I don't need gas to fire these steam kettles. It's an electric process. Why is that important? Has anybody done any new construction in Washington State? Have you ever tried to pull a permit to get a natural gas line into a house? You're not going to get one. Okay, residential, it's already banned. You can't get a new gas line. PSC has already signed off on it and said, yep, we'll give up the gas. You're not going to get a new gas line installed in your home. Eventually, that's going to come to the commercial world, and it's going to impact commercial cooking. We've responded to that already. Our kitchen doesn't need gas to operate. We can create great food out of that kitchen, and we don't need liquid natural gas to power that kitchen. So this is a very unique opportunity for us. That kitchen and the way that we have that cooking battery set up. Yes, it's a fish and chip concept now, but if you're thinking outside the box, really, we could reskin that and make it a different concept if we wanted to. If we had a different menu, a different brand, or a different concept, we could use that same battery and produce another menu, another concept out of that. So it's pretty exciting when you think outside of the Kettlefish box. We could really go somewhere with this type of cooking technology. This all started with a steam kettle concept. This guy, Patty, he came to my house in 2016, 17, and I was packing up. I was out of Seattle. I was living in West Seattle. I was going through a divorce, and I'm like, I'm out of here. It's like, where are you going? I said, I don't know, probably Kitsap. And he says, hey, he goes, you ever heard of a steam kettle? And I said, a steam kettle? That's what I think of when I think steam kettles, right? These are big kettles where you do huge soup production, right? Facilities, schools, prisons, hospitals. You're making mass, kettles. And he says, no, steam kettle, these little ones. And I didn't really understand what he was talking about. So we decided to go down to Reno, Nevada and take a look at these in action. So, a lot of people think this is new technology. This steam kettle technology has been around for a long, long time. And this next slide is going to illustrate that. This is John Oswego's Oyster Bar restaurant in Sparks, Nevada. This is where Patty and I went to do our research. It looks like an old version of Three's Company or something like this, right? So this is like probably from the 70s, these photos. Look at the great hair on this guy, huh? And look at your steam kettle, right? He's got a little steam kettle sitting right in front of him. Here's an array of steam kettles. It looks like he's cooking up probably a pan roast or maybe something like that down in these steam kettles here. So these things have been in use for a long time. They've just never been repurposed in a new, clean environment. So that was a real eye opener for us. We went down to that visit. We looked at the recipes. We actually got to know the chef down there. We hired him, and he flew up to Silverdale and helped us get open. He helped us with his experience on the steam kettles, cooking, and there's a few tricks to operating them. So we were able to learn a lot, on that quick little visit down to John Oswego's Oyster Bar in Sparks, Nevada. That is a bit of our origin story. We can do a lot with these steam kettles. We can cook, this entire menu here. We have soups and chowders, pan roast. Anybody familiar with the pan roast? It's kind of like an oyster stew. He's had the pan roast before. I see some guy way back there. I can do mac and cheese. Pasta dishes are very easy in steam kettles. Steamer clams and mussels. These steam kettles really, really treat shellfish well. If you've never had, shellfish cooked in our steam kettles, something about it, they turn out perfect every time. They're just kind of bouncy and fresh and delightful. I think it's because of the double boiler effect of the steam kettle. It's very different from cooking stock pot on flame. It has a different heating property to it. So we're able to do a lot with these kettles. Right now, we're just doing these in the steam kettles, but they're pretty flexible. You could do a number of different things in these kettles. And then, of course, I like to highlight this one, bouillabaisse. Everybody had bouillabaisse before? All right, here's a test. Here's quiz time. Anybody know which one is bouillabaisse? One on the left? Yeah, one on the left. Okay, that's bouillabaisse. Anybody know why? It's the addition of that saffron, right? White clam broth. The white clam broth, the same one you're drinking your Bloody Caesar today, and saffron. You can't really see the saffron strings in there, but this is saffron. The other one is a dish of cioppino. Okay, cioppino is a little bit chunkier, tomato-based, things like that. So they're two really, really healthy dishes. And if you look at this, there is no filler in that. That is seafood protein, about 12 to 14 ounces of seafood protein, clean seafood protein, vegetable broth. That's it, right? No breader, maybe a little bit of herb on top. That is about as healthy as you can eat, folks. So that's pretty exciting. Are you getting hungry yet?
Yeah.
All right. We do have two locations. We've got easy access from the freeway at both locations, and there's free parking in both locations. A lot of people think that parking is a challenge. Both locations that I have, Silverdale and Gig Harbor, everybody says, oh, you can't park anywhere in Old Town Silverdale. You can't park anywhere in downtown Gig Harbor. Don't believe it. Come on, guys. Yeah. I've been to these restaurants multiple times every week, and I never have problems. I never park more than a block away. So there's a perception that there's bad parking in these locations, but I think you can overcome it. So those are our two locations. Our year in review, this is kind of just a little photo montage of our first year. in Kettlefish. So there's some fun stuff going on here. Here's the day we opened. Click the open sign on for the first time, October 7th. And I went out and snapped a photo. Here's our opening day crew. There's the lineup at the front of the house. You know, our opening day. What's this guy's name? He comes in all the time. He's a great guy. Our first customer in, and he comes in all the time. I wish I could remember his name. Then here's Derek at the back doing one of these things. I think that's hilarious. We got some kids here enjoying their chowder and fish and chips. And here's Patty and I doing a catered event. So we do these infrequently, but we'd like to do more of them. So if you have an interest in catering, let me know. We did a party for 8 people there, a Cipino dinner. A lot of fun. We give these away as auction items. I think I did this one for my Rotary Club in Port Orchard, but it was a lot of fun. We come in and we set up, we cook you Cipino, 6 to 8 people, and then we get out of there. We might even help you with dishes if we're nice. Anyway, those are kind of fun. And then of course our steamers, there's some steamer clams coming off the kettle line. There's Bruce and his pal. These are hardy folks that boated over from Vashon in the middle of, I think it was April. So they were a little cold when they got off the boat, but we warmed them right up with some steamer clams and Cipino and a beer, of course. A few more photos from our first year. We get into March into restaurant week. We had our fish taco launch. Those are pretty popular. I'd see Mike over here with the fish tacos. He's a pretty big fan of the fish tacos. So that was a fun little addition to the menu there. Here we are on TV. There's Miss Brittany and what's this guy's name? Brian. There you go. So Q13, they came in and did a little feature in Gig Harbor and they stopped in our shop. That was a lot of fun. So we were pretty stoked about that. We got a nice little feature on the TV here. This is a couple of my crew and some stormtroopers down at, I think, at the concerts. That might not have been the farmers market, but down at the concert, we had some stormtroopers show up. That was a thrill for the kids because, you know, they're big Star Wars fans and they got to see the stormtroopers. There's Patty and his other daughter, and Patty's wife. We're down at the concerts there. That was a little booth we had set up at the concerts, which was a lot of fun this summer. We were able to sell our product down at the concerts, and we just walked it down from the restaurant. Down in the corner there is Paul and his wife Sharon. He's painting the mural. I don't know if you've seen our formerly blank blue wall. Now has a very beautiful mural on it, and Paul did all of that by hand. I helped him sketch out the lines with my shaky hand. But it looks great in the room now. There's, you know, a few more things we need to do in that dining room. It's not quite finished yet, but we keep working on it through time. There's a picture of the concerts up there. Look at how many folks are at these concerts down in the park there, down at Scansey Park. That was a lot of fun. And we had the best seat in the house. We were right by the stage. The speakers kind of pointed away from us so I could hear people, and it was a lot of fun. So we look forward to doing that again next year. And up there in the corner is our little market booth setup. So that one is actually down in Port Orchard. We set up for the first week down in Port Orchard, but we had a presence every week at the Gig Harbor Farmers Market. It was really, really fun. We got to meet a lot of people down there, a lot of tourists coming in from out of town, a lot of locals, and it was fun. We had folks, from South America coming through. I think probably the most folks that I talked to this year were coming in from Texas. They must have had a cheap set of flights coming from Texas into Gig Harbor here, because I met a lot of folks from Texas. Yeah, Gary Parker, right? Yeah, he's the funnel, right? The conduit there. So it was a lot of fun at the farmers market. We look forward to doing that again next year. It's a great exposure for the companies, and it's just fun to get out and talk to the people. And down in the bottom corner there is some folks. This is actually at our Silverdale location, but we've done some cooking classes. We bring some folks in and teach them how to use our little steam kettles. It's kind of a fun little thing. Usually we do this as an auction donation item. We'll give that away and say, come on in and learn how to use our cooking kettles. So this is a couple that have been coming into the Silverdale location for quite a while. They purchased an auction donation item and they were able to come in and cook up their Cipino right on the steam kettles. So that's kind of our year in review down here in Gig Harbor and up in Silverdale. I'll just end on a note that Silverdale, we did end on a good note this year. Silverdale, we were able at the end of the season on Labor Day weekend, some local business owners decided it would be a fun idea to rent a foot ferry and run the foot ferry from Silverdale Waterfront Park down to Bremerton, down to the Blackberry Days. And I don't have a photo of it, but it was really a unique, really a fun way to end the season. So these guys rented the Carlisle 2, which is a boat in the Kitsap Transit Fleet. It's an old Mosquito Fleet boat. And we rented that for the weekend, and we ran it from Waterfront Park all the way down to Bremerton. We had 2,400 passengers that weekend take that ferry. Every midday sailing was full. It was fantastic. And Old Town Silverdale just came alive for that weekend. I was down there at a little booth. I had my market booth set up and was just giving away free chowder samples and talking to folks as they were getting on the ferry. And they were just thrilled. You know, a lot of these folks came down from Kingston, from Paulsbo, and they said, you know, we always want to go to Blackberry Days, but it's so hard to park down there. So come and park in Silverdale. They took the ferry down. We had folks coming up from Bremerton that said, oh, we thought it'd be a fun little ferry ride today. And so we were able to do that. So look for that. That could be a feature coming to Silverdale soon. We'd like to see that become a regular feature. So we ended on a high note up in Silverdale. So that's it. So we are, again, this is a year interview. October 7th is our anniversary. So we still haven't lived through a full year down here in Gig Harbor. So we're still kind of learning what it's all about. You know, we sadly just had a lesson about September in the Gig Harbor. We didn't realize how quickly business just comes to an end down here when school starts. So that was an eye opener for us. And we're still kind of reeling from that, saying, what just happened? So we're gonna need a little assistance from you guys, and little things help us. Stop in. If you haven't been to the restaurant, please come by. If you have been to the restaurant, come in anytime, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily, both locations. We are open. So come on in, bring a friend. We'd love to have you in for lunch. If you can't come in, when you're downtown, if you know you don't need to come into our restaurant, go over to Heritage Distilling, go over to Gig Harbor Brewing, Hop Farm, and we have our menus out and little QR codes on the tables. You can order food there, and we'll bring it right down to the restaurant. My gals will bring it right down to the restaurant there. Wherever you're at, we'll find you and we'll get you your food. So you don't even need to come to our restaurant to enjoy the food. You can enjoy and spread the love. You know, go see our friends at Heritage, over at Hop Farm, Gig Harbor Brewing. I imagine we'll do the same at Seven Seas once they get going too, because it's right within walking distance and we can deliver food down there pretty easily. There are little QR codes that we have there. So just look for those when you're in those locations. Little things like reviews help us. You know, we haven't done any marketing to speak of. I think I ran one ad and it was very expensive and I couldn't afford it. So little reviews like this help us. Almost all the marketing that we've done has been word of mouth, right? Very organic. We don't pay for reviews. We just encourage folks. If you like it, if you had a good experience, please give us a review. It really helps. It really helps the business. It raises and elevates, you know, what we're doing. It increases awareness about us, and people will keep their eye on us as long as the reviews keep coming in and they're fresh and they're organic. You know, we're not going to pay anybody for reviews, but if you had a good experience, let us know about it. We'd love to. And if you had a bad experience, let us know about it. We'll fix it. We're all about that. More little things we can do. We do events and house parties, you know, limited basis. We're not really set up for huge caterings, but we can do Cioppino dinner anytime. Cioppino, bouillabaisse, steamer, clams, and mussels. If you got a party of 6 coming over your house and you're thinking about, what can I serve these guys? Give us a call. We'll throw together, you know, steamers for 6, put it in a bag, and we have instructions. 1 pot for steamers, you know, single pot for Cioppino, single pot for bouillabaisse. We can throw it together very quickly for you. Just give us a call. We can set up a little seafood taco bar. We just did this down at Heritage for an event last week where we put out a little taco bar and had people assemble their own tacos. It was very successful. So we can do that. We also do little cooking classes. If you want to come down and try your hand at our steam kettle system, give us a call. We'll arrange that for you. If you're part of a school, church group, fundraisers, takeovers, things like that. Who knows what a takeover is? I know Gary does. Yeah. So takeovers are where you come in, you know, you bring folks in to dine at the restaurant, throw your receipts into a jar and we'll pay and give, you know, 10% of the proceeds back to whatever charity, school, or church group wants to benefit from that. Matt? Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. So if you have an idea about any of that, please come our way. You know, we're looking to fill the calendar. It's, you know, it's kind of scary right now. So we would like to fill the calendar out with folks like that. And then online orders. We have great curbside pickup. If you order online, just tick the little box that says curbside pickup. We'll run it out to you. We'll see your car pull up. You know, just tell us if you're in a green, you know, blue Taurus or whatever you're in and we'll run it right out the door to you. It's very easy. Both locations have curbside, you know, pull in and pull out. So you can get your food very quickly and go. That QR code just takes you to our website. If you'd like to, you know, bookmark that and think about that as you're, you know, putting in your orders. But we do need, we're going to need your help to get through this winter. It's going to be a challenge for us. So, you know, any support we can get in these areas would be most appreciated. Where are we next? You know, we've got a lot of things on the calendar. We'd like more. This Saturday, I'll be down at Port Orchard Farmers Market. There's an Empty Bowls fundraiser down there. It's going to be the Battle of Chowders. I'm going to put my white chowder right next to my red chowder, Manhattan style chowder, and we're going to be serving that both and let people compare and contrast. You know, a lot of people have opinions about Manhattan style chowder. Who likes Manhattan style chowder? About half the room. Okay, that's not bad. All right, so come down and compare and contrast our New England versus our Manhattan style chowder. So we'll be down there on Saturday morning, most of the day down at Empty Bowls and Port Orchard Farmers Market. Monday, we launch the Manhattan clam chowder, so that'll be on our menu regularly. Come on in for that. Silverdale Mondays, we're reopening Silverdale on Mondays. We had a little trouble staffing up there, but we're back to full staff. So we're reopened on Mondays in Silverdale, which is great. You know, there's not a lot going on in Silverdale on Monday. So it's nice to have at least one restaurant open up there. Even if it's not a tremendous amount of business, we'll plug it out. We'll keep going. Tuesday the 10th, we've got a 3-course dinner down at Heritage Distilling Company. This is a sold out event. We sold 20 tickets to this event. We're taking a 3-course dinner down to Heritage, you know, starting off with a small appetizer. We'll have a soup and salad course and then an entree course and then a dessert. You got to see this cocoa bomb dessert. Oh my goodness. This is pretty clever. But our entree choices this time we did a seafood pasta, salmon pasta, and then we have a mussels preparation, 3 different styles of mussels prepared. So people have their choice of entree down there. We will do this again. We were kind of surprised. We had heard that we'd launched it and then we didn't sell any tickets for the first day or two. And then the guy from Heritage came in yesterday and said, "Oh, we're sold out." It's like, "Oh, fantastic." So I didn't even do anything to promote it. Kettlefish didn't. Heritage did all the promoting for it. But that's really going to be fun for us. You know, we love this. We get to sort of get outside of our, you know, standard Cioppino dinner type thing and do something fun. So we're excited about that. And it's with a great partner, Heritage Distilling. Sip and Stroll is coming up. If you have an opportunity, come by and see us at the Sip and Stroll down in Gig Harbor. On the 21st, we're going to plant some daffodils up in Silverdale Old Town. So we're going to get these in the ground and then hopefully in March have a fun little, you know, bloom of daffodils up in Silverdale. So those are the things that are on the calendar right now. And that's about all I have for today, folks. I'm happy to take any questions. And I think, John?
Thank you very much, Dave. Can you give it a hand? Okay. Gary, I have the first question today.
Thank you, Dave, and your team for being here this morning. You know, excuse me, we heard you were coming for quite some time, but it wasn't open.
Right.
So can you talk a little bit about maybe it's the permitting process?
Sure.
What it takes to get a foothold inside of Gig Harbor? Was that the challenge, or you know, what took so long for you to open the store that we were all looking forward to?
Yeah, so, you know, without getting into a lot of the weeds on it, we did have some challenges getting permitted to occupy the space. You know, this was a restaurant in its prior iteration, but the city didn't recognize the extent that it was a restaurant. They thought it was a small counter with 12 seats. And so the facility had to be, for lack of a better term, almost a change of use. So we had to go through a very extensive process to be sure that the facility was up to current codes on many things. So it was a long process. It was very expensive. And we opened really, you know, just in the nick of time. Credit cards are maxed out, really bootstrapped to get this place open because we had planned to be open in April and we opened in October. That's 6 months, no revenue, paying rent.
Did you anticipate any of that? Or did you?
Oh, no, we anticipate. I mean, you always anticipate delay, but not to the extent that we were. So that was unfortunate. We opened, you know, pretty much behind the 8 ball. So it was pretty scary for us there for a little while. But we were able to get through it. And it was a challenge. And I will say that I faced this in other jurisdictions. It's not unique to Gig Harbor. I think every jurisdiction where we're trying permitting is going to be a challenge. We just have to be prepared for that. I know that we ran through it in Kitsap. I didn't think it'd be as extensive as it was down in Gig Harbor. So I think sadly, we learned a lesson that we need to be prepared for these types of delays and we'll take it on. So thank you.
And maybe a follow-up.
Yeah.
Are you planning any other locations?
I'd love to have more locations. Right now, you know, we need to stabilize the 2 operations. Right now, we've been very successful in terms of consistency between the 2 locations. You know, we have a product that is in a concept that is replicable. right? We can take this. We've already proven it. We know how to put the equipment together. We know what kind of spaces are good for this type of operation. And yes, we would like to grow. Obviously, finances will prevent that or allow that. So right now, we're not in a position to do that, but we would love to. Yeah. Thank you.
You indicated, Dave, that you cater to people.
Yes.
For a dinner or what have you. How portable are these little steam kettles? Do you
So-
need water? Is it 110 or 220?
That's a great question. So these are not portable, right? They are set in place. That's one reason why you don't see them very frequently. I suppose you could get it into a food truck and anchor them down somehow, but because you're dealing with steam, you have to have pretty secure connections. You can't let this stuff escape. So it is not portable. We do the preparation beforehand. So when we're catering off site, it's very easy for us to cater off site. The Cioppino dinner we do, during COVID, this is actually a survival piece for us. We did kits, all right, and we just had a little bag with everything you needed to make Cioppino, bouillabaisse, steamed clams and mussels, and a little instruction card, and you take it home, single pot, and it's done in 12 minutes or 15 minutes, depending on what type of stove you have. But you can do this stuff at home, and we have the ability to do that just about anywhere. Yeah.
The preparation there is done at Kettlefish, but the actual cooking is not done on a steam kettle if you cater.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Dave, I just echo Terry's welcome and glad you're here.
Thanks,
in your
Steve.
presentation, and thank you. And more than a question, the comment is, I just love your innovation and your versatility. I think it's just fun, And you mentioned the Battle of the Chowders, and you and I have talked, and I hope the chamber gets involved, as well as the Waterfront Alliance, and bring to Gig Harbor, maybe in a time where we'd like to have people come, and maybe businesses at a lull. I don't know when that is.
Right.
January, February, but anyway, bring throughout the Northwest and have a Battle of the Chowders. And because the one cool thing about your chowder is it does have clams in it.
Well, thank you, Steve. Steve, you've been a tremendous supporter of the restaurant. I thank you for all you've done. You're a tremendous, cheerleader and champion of the brand. So I do appreciate that. And yes, chowder competition is something we would love to do. If you guys hear about a chowder competition somewhere, I don't know about it because I've looked. We are going to have one in the downtown waterfront.
Coast.
They did one on the coast, right?
Couple, 2-3 decades ago, there was one on the Washington, Oregon coast.
Right.
And different restaurants would come. But it's been a long time.
And actually, based on your suggestion and full attribution was given, I think we will see something in the next year, a chowder contest in downtown Gig Harbor. I think the Waterfront Alliance has embraced it, at least the initial idea of it. And we're ready. We'll take on all comers. I say, put up your dukes, Ivor. Let's go. Let's go. We're ready.
Hey, Dave, there's a
Yeah.
comment online that
Yeah.
the white sauce on tacos rock. What is white sauce on tacos? Explain that.
That's the secret sauce. Three ingredients you get to choose. Yeah, it's a great little white sauce. That's Patty's recipe. He's genius with this stuff. So yeah,
It tells you
great.
Just a quick comment, Dave.
Yeah.
The Seafair or the Seaport Museum does an annual chowder fest as a fundraiser where they bring in different chowders from different restaurants around.
Excellent.
And it's a bit of a challenge. You may be interested in that.
Yeah, I'll see you afterwards. I would love to do that. Like I said, we have no fear about putting our chowder up against anybody. I think it's the best on the West Coast, maybe in North America.
Gig Harbor, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I'll be down at sorry.
Probably 15 years ago, John.
All the local restaurants, not all of them, but there were probably about 8 or 10 restaurants like the Tides, like Anthony's, Inn of Gig Harbor, and on and on. And they would meet over at initially over at the old Aaron Rockery site,
which was kind of a big field, and they would have, kind of a farmer's market there at one time. They had, chowder, challenges, chowder cook-off there. And then they moved it over to the, Pierce Transit parking right off of Kimball.
Okay.
That was the last one. I asked, I tell you this because I was a judge every year and I enjoyed it.
Great.
The challenge for me was that the next chowder is the best, and the next chowder is the best. Pretty soon you're forgetting, how that first one tasted in comparison to the others, but it was always a lot of fun and there was always a good turnout. They gave little cups of chowder,
Great.
and so it was a lot of fun. So it has a history. I thought the chamber was involved in it, and Miriam might look into it, but it was about 14, 15 years ago that I participated in it.
Well, we'd love to resurrect it. Maybe we can convince you to come out of retirement as a judge. Okay. All right.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Over here.
Yeah, several years ago, I can't remember, but it was Anthony's Restaurant at the time or the one before it, but on Friday nights during happy hour, they would have a oyster eating contest.
Oh, yeah.
You just show up and they put 5 people at a table and they put like 4 or 5 oysters on half shell raw right in front of them.
Yeah.
And they had to keep their hands behind their back and reach down and whoever finished those 5 first won. And they won a free cocktail for doing it. But
Oh, great. Yeah.
anyway, you may want to think about doing something.
We'll do that with Cipino, hands behind the back, and then just kind of, yeah.
By the way, which spirit do you think matches up best with clam chowder?
What spirit? Oh, well, if you're drinking a Bloody Caesar cocktail, we usually, the house recipe is Heritage Batch 12 vodka and then the Caesar mix. But this Caesar mix, you can actually mix with beer, half and half, no ice, make it they call it a michelada or something like that. I've seen people in a Bloody Caesar put akavit. Have you ever had akavit in a Bloody Caesar? Yeah, it adds a little caraway flavor to it. It's nice. I used to be a bartender, so I know all the different permutations. Yeah, indeed, they do. Actually, our first appetizer on the Heritage 3-course menu is an akavit poached prawn cocktail. So it'll be just a prawn that we poached out in akavit, and then we drop it into our Bloody Caesar mix. So that's one of the appetizers. So yeah, a little bit of our creative juices flowing there. So it's kind of fun.
Any additional questions? Going once, going twice?
Thank you, John.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, great.
Excellent. Okay, this is the time when we find out what's going on in the community, and let's see who we have here. Well, Kurt. Marion, do you have anything?
Yes, I
You want to talk about 10-minute parks or?
Mary's gonna go first.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So thanks, Dave, for that. And I will say we're big fans of the service over to Heritage. Not that we're there all the time, but it's lovely to be able to get something really good and healthy to eat when you're, blowing up your liver. It's awesome. In a good way. Anyway, the upcoming forums, I do want to mention that next week we will be at Latitude 47. We're doing kind of a road trip there. It's a place that if you haven't been to the industrial park up by the women's prison, they will have one of their locations that is currently not in use available to walk through. They're going to do a presentation and whatnot. They're in the process of also trying to arrange tours in some of the other buildings. So I encourage you to show up. They are catering it. So if you happen to be of the mindset to go ahead and register for the event, it will help us know what number to give them. So go onto the chamber website, to the public affairs forum page, or to the events calendar and find it and register. That would be lovely. Our next luncheon is also, yes. Same time. So 8 to 9. And our luncheon, which is our annual meeting, is also on October 5th. And so if you would like to attend that, it is where we're changing over the board, thanking the outgoing board members and then welcoming the incoming board members. So we would love to see you there as well. For that, there's no theme on it, but Gary Parker is going to be the caterer with his chili. So his cowboy chili. And our November luncheon, after we've been talking about all this chowder, will actually be chowder. So we're kind of going through that now that it's cozy sweater weather, going into the chilies. That'd be amazing, because I would like to try it. Okay, that'd be amazing. Thank you. And then when we come back, so we'll come back here after Latitude 47, but we're going right into the debate or the candidate forums. Same building, but it'll be over in the dining area. We've had some forums there. So if you were in that space over in that cafeteria area, there is a door that enters from the street that you can go through. And then there's also coming through the lobby. So part of the relationship with this facility is that they're using some of their marketing dollars to bring people into the community and see, and that's what, and they're using that to provide some munchies and whatnot for breakfast. So I encourage you to participate with that as well. We may have sign-in required when we're over in the cafeteria, because this way, people might be coming right into this from the street. So that would be why for that. So Kurt, I haven't talked about who the forums are going to be, but we'd love to hear an update on, because you guys for PenMet, didn't you just go through like a pros plan
Yes.
thing? So there you go.
Yeah, we had a public meeting on Tuesday to go over the final results of the pros plan. It's a 6-year plan that we're required to do every 6 years. And so it's over and all encompassing. It focuses on what areas are underserved, what areas are overserved, and that kind of thing. And Terry Lee remembers all that in the back. By the way, I want to recognize Terry Lee for wearing his Aloha shirt today. He gave me a bad time because I didn't wear mine, but I'll try to get one on this afternoon when the sun comes out. So what's happening at PenMet Parks? So we have the Scarecrow Festival coming up on October 7th, Saturday, and they have the pumpkin launcher there, the food trucks, local makers market. So come and check it out. It runs from 11 to 4. And then on October 27th, Friday, we have the Trunk or Treat drive-through at Zama Homestead Park, where you drive through with your kids, have your trunk open, and they'll stick candies in your trunk for you. And then in wintertime, we have Cookies with Mr. and Mrs. Claus, which is simply, it's on a Saturday, December 9th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Extremely popular, huge turnout, what have you. So what's happening next week? Here, we're going to be actually meeting at a different location, Latitude 47 Warehouse Complex over on Busich Drive, right across the street from the Women's Penitentiary. We met there a couple years ago now, right, Miriam? When it first opened up. And they're going to host us again. It's going to be catered. It's going to be super cool. Some of you may know that Heritage Distilling rents one of the major warehouses there, and that's their headquarters now. So anyway, it's going to be a great turnout. You can join us. And then the weeks after that, we'll be hosting the local campaigns. We'll have Ed Nadler here with Mary Barber, the city council campaign. We'll have the Port of Tacoma, and also we will have the Peninsula School District campaign. So that'll cover up the rest of October. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for being here, and we'll see you next week at Latitude 47.
Thank you.
Thanks.